truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, Big footprints in a pine-slick path, Bob Lazar files with a government laugh. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Them backroom deals, we break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast. And we're not actually streaming on Military Broadcast Radio at the moment, but we will. Okay, I don't know what happened. We just got kicked off of line twice now, so I'm hoping everything goes okay.
It's the worst time to start doing that again.
Yeah, I know, right?
Goodness.
Oh, well. Okay, we'll deal with the technology as it comes. But okay, I'm really not sure what's going on. That's the third time we've been kicked off.
That has not done that in
a long time.
In a long time.
I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, we're
Okay.
gonna try this.
So we are going to try and have a conversation with Carmen Bolden Day. That is Jelani Day's mother. A couple of days ago on Saturday, we did our live stream introducing you to Jelani, and we just want to continue that. And we brought Carmen on to let you know who her son is and the circumstances of the case. And hopefully our internet will work. But we're going to bring up Carmen now. Hello, Carmen. Welcome.
Hi, Carmen.
Hi. How's everybody?
We're doing good, but hopefully we stay online.
Yeah, sorry about that. And sorry I didn't get to say hello. I came down here a little bit late, but
yeah. So I did. Dakara told me that you and your husband were veterans.
We are. We both are veterans. Yes.
Yes. So where did you serve?
I served I did my tour in Germany.
Okay. And were you in the Army or?
I was in the Army.
Okay. I was in the Army as well. My husband as well too. That's actually where we met. So, anyways,
that's where we met. We met over there.
Oh, okay. That's
what we
awesome.
did.
That's awesome. Yeah, my husband and I became friends in the Army, and then we realized we couldn't be away from each other, and decided to be a couple. So we've been
I
here
think that's how
25
those.
years now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
how those Army. That's how they start. Like me and Save met in November of '91, and we were married by March of '92. So we only knew each other 3 months before we got married, and we were married a total of 28 years before we separated. And then before he passed away, it would have been Dakar was what, it was 2 years ago. So Dakar was 34, so it would have been 33 years had we.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband and I think we only knew each other for about 5 months altogether before we got married.
I think it's something in the water in the Army that makes people do that. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I
I'm
don't
so
know what's
sorry.
going
I have
on.
not had internet issues in months.
I'm
and
wondering if it's because I changed over to the different StreamYard account, and that's what's happening. We'll see how it goes. If we can't continue this, we will do a recording and try it that way. I'm very sorry about this. Okay, so let's get into it before we get kicked off again. Okay, so Carmen, can you tell us about Jelani and what his life was like before he passed away, before he went missing? Can you tell us just, the things he was interested in? We want to know as much as we can about him.
Okay, Jelani graduated from Alabama A&M. While in school at Alabama A&M, he was very active. He was a part of 100 Black Men Collegiate. He was a part of Omega Psi Phi. He was a part of House Arrest, which was a dance team. He was a part of Mbasla, which was a program for speech pathologists. He just was active. Jelani was a very active person. My son was ambitious, outgoing. He loved life. He loved to travel. He was always doing something. He kept himself. Jelani just liked to have fun. He was very inquisitive. Like I said, very smart. He loved people. He loved people. He was the kindest young man. I think they went out again. It's just me.
Sorry.
It's okay. It was just me, and I was still talking. So I think
Yeah,
they were
just keep
seeing. I think they were seeing me, and they didn't see you. But
Yeah.
Jelani was everything. He was my son. That he was the one that talked his mom out of anything. I mean, I could tell him no 50,000 times. Jelani is gonna beg me till I give in. He was the loudest child that I had. He loved to have fun. He is like I have 5 children, and his personality was just. Jelani was just loud. Jelani is not going to let anything. If there was tension, Jelani is the one to come in the room to make sure that the tension does not exist. He's going to talk about the elephant in the room. He's going to make you talk to him.
So he was a peacemaker instead of a peacekeeper.
Yeah, he could be both. He could be both. He could be both. Jelani was he was passionate about the people and things that he loved. So my son was he was everything I wanted in a son. I mean, I have 3 of them, and all 3 of them are different. And Jelani was a mixture of his oldest brother, of his 2 older brothers. I always said that about him. DeAndre is his own person. Seve is his own person. But I seen Jelani, he had a mixture of both his older brothers in him. Plus he had his own identity. Jelani would tell you he was a team of me, and you know, Jelani was proud of himself, you know.
Yeah.
And he was encouraging. Jelani was always encouraging, and he was protective of me and his sisters, his dad, his brothers. That's just Jelani.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like I know him because I listened to you as I was, cleaning and stuff, getting ready for the day when all of this happened. I actually followed Jelani's story from the beginning because we live in Missouri. And then I was also married on the Illinois River. And so I think it kind of grabbed my attention.
Stuck out to you.
Yeah. And so I was following this from the beginning, and he tugged at my heartstrings immediately. You know, whenever you talk about Jelani, you're talking about a man who really seemed like an amazing ray of light and inspiration, honestly.
Absolutely.
He was.
And
I wanted to convey that because at the time when everything was happening with him, I needed everybody to feel what I was feeling. I needed you to know that he was so important that I needed you to help me. You know, I wasn't getting the help. So I needed you to know that this is in real life. This is in real time. This young man really means something to me, and I wanted him to mean something to you.
Yeah.
So that you could help me, because that's the only way that people tend to, if it affects them. I needed it to affect you. So I'm glad that you felt what I was feeling, that, you know, that it came across that way, because he is very personal. If he was a son of yours, you would have wanted someone to help you.
Yeah.
And Jelani was just it. I mean, not that anybody wouldn't want their kids, you know, for you to help their kids, but.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. But you really have done a great job of communicating that. I feel like whenever you talk about him, I can literally see him, you know, smiling and engaging the way that he did. You know, I didn't know him, but I sure would have loved to have known him.
And a lot of times when something.
Okay, so they're off, and it's just me and you all again. So if you guys have any questions, I am watching it live as well. So
We're so sorry about that.
You're good. You're fine. You're good.
But all I was trying to say, though, is normally when something happens, a lot of someone's life will get lost in the mix of all of it, and people.
So I am looking at the comments in the comments section. I am watching, so I appreciate you all.
This could happen on. We're so sorry about that.
We're so sorry. This happened with Aubrey Wu's parents as well.
Did it? Oh my
goodness. Yes, it did. I don't. Satan, go away.
Right. We rebuke everything that's stopping the lie.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. But you did really communicate that.
Absolutely.
And like Alaura said, a lot of times the person gets lost in.
Okay, they popped off again. So like I said, I am reading the comments in the live. I see you, Paul. Thank you, Relax Wellness Beauty. So when you guys pop off, I am reading the comments in the live, and I'm just responding to them till you come back. So we can make this work. We can make it work.
You're rolling with the punches, because like I said, this hasn't happened in a long time. So this is.
You're fine. We can make this work.
Okay, so we know that Jelani, when he started going to ISU, Illinois State University, this was a brand new town, and he'd only been there for what? How many weeks? Like 3 weeks or something like that?
No, ma'am. He had only been on campus for 1 week.
1 week.
Oh, 1 week. Okay.
So he had been attending ISU that summer, but they were doing everything online because during that time it was COVID and they didn't have in-person classes. So he had attended ISU, but he had done it online. And then after that August, which was that fall, they popped off again. So it's just you and I. So y'all hear me. Okay, so I was still talking, so I was still letting them know. But he was doing online schooling during the summer, and when fall classes started in August, he was then going to school in person at ISU. So he had only been on campus for 1 week.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Thank you, Joy. I'm trying. I'm gonna work with them. They keep going in and out, but it's okay. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know how this is gonna work, but
Hey,
okay.
so you're fine. You're fine. If we go in and out, we just come back. I mean,
Okay.
it is what it is.
Okay.
I'm not bothered by it. You guys are fine.
Okay, good.
We just want to make sure that Jelani's story is out, and that's the most important part out of
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
the most important part of
Yes.
this.
Okay.
So they're out again. Maybe it does have to be recorded. I don't know. But
He's there for a week, and he
so he was there for a week.
oh my gosh. So he's there for a week,
Mm-hmm.
and he does not know anybody, right? Because he was taking summer classes. So were those people in his summer classes there during his graduate program when he gets on
Yes,
campus?
from what I understand, the same people that he was in the summer classes with were in the classes that he was taking when he was there in the fall. So he didn't know some of them because he had met them during the summer classes online.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so but he didn't have any like real formed friendships yet on campus.
I think that no. I think that with some of the because the class Jelani was the only male in the class. So with some of the females in the class, he like did projects with, so he knew them through through the correspondence online, chatting or emailing each other or whatever. So he did do that. That's how he formed these friendships with these young ladies, so to say, quote, I'm saying friendships in quotes because, it wasn't, this was something that he had just got into.
Okay. So you probably don't even know what his typical weekday morning would look like.
As far as, I talked to Jelani on a daily basis. So when he was in school doing classes online, I knew that he had classes at a certain time, because if I would call him, he'd be like, Mama, I'm in class, or Mama, I got to go to class. And I knew it was online. So I knew that he had classes throughout the day online. I knew that he would go to his part-time job. He worked at the YMCA. I knew that he went to go work out. I knew that he was going to hang out with some of his friends at home. So I talked to him regularly throughout the day, almost every day sometime. If I skipped a day talking to him, then I knew that he had talked to his sisters or he talked to his brothers, because I would talk to them. And if I hadn't talked to Dakar that day, I'm talking to Jelani and like, you talked to Dakar today, or, and vice versa. So his everyday thing wasn't out of the norm for me, what he was doing. I knew it. Like I said, I can't tell you like every moment by moment what Jelani was doing, but as a whole, I can tell you that he went to work. He went to work. He got up to go work out. He would hang out with his friends. He did his classes. I do know that.
Okay. Now, I did see somewhere in, I think it was the FOIA documents, where they were talking about how he was working at the Y, and then I can't remember if they said that they let him go, or did that happen, or was that right before?
That was the YMCA in Bloomington. So the YMCA in Bloomington, he started working there, and he went to work late. I think it was twice.
Okay.
He had gotten a job at the YMCA in Bloomington. He called me. I think he showed up to work there late twice, and they thought that it wouldn't work for him. Because he was working at the YMCA in Danville, try to work at the YMCA in Bloomington with his classes or whatever he was doing. And at that time, he was traveling back and forth because we had just got him a place to live in Bloomington. So he was driving back and forth. So that didn't last long because I think he showed up twice late, and whoever was over it at the time, they had told him that they didn't think that he was going to work there. So that's why he didn't work at the YMCA long. Okay.
So now I remember hearing something about him getting a loan and then paying his rent, buying scrubs, and then so how much was that loan for? Did he have like a lot of cash? I mean, not cash.
So
but...
I don't know anything about a loan that Jelani got.
Okay.
Jelani did, as far as I know, he didn't get a loan. So some things that have been said about him is not true. So that's exactly why I'm here today, is to clear up some of these things that have been said about him.
Okay.
There's never been any documentation or any paperwork that anybody has shown me or that I have seen that Jelani got a loan.
Okay. Okay, that I don't know. I don't remember where I saw that, but I've been doing a deep dive, so it could have been anywhere. So let's just talk about Jelani. Like, so I know it being a new place, people are gonna argue with you, or not argue with you, but ask you this. So I'm gonna ask you. So, as it being a new place, some people think that he might have been stressed out because of that, and then he was also, according to the FOIA request, because I remember seeing that in the FOIA request, that he was missing assignments and had maybe been late to some meetings or had not shown up to some meetings. So when Jelani's stressed out, how does he usually deal with stress?
Okay, so let me back you up. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you said that him being in a new place, it would have caused stress. I want to clear that up. Jelani was not stressed about being in Bloomington. Jelani wasn't stressed about anything. So they went out again, and it's just me. So I'm still talking to you all. Jelani, let me make this clear. My son was not stressed out about being in Bloomington or being in a new place. Like I said, initially, Jelani would drive back and forth from Danville to Bloomington because Jelani didn't have any furniture at the time, and I was going to get him some furniture. Jelani, again, there was nothing that he was stressed out about. Jelani had been, at this time, his dad was ill, and but he still was not stressed out. Was he concerned? Absolutely. Was he concerned? Absolutely. He was concerned because, like I said, his dad was ill. He was making sure that his dad got to his doctor's appointments. He was sharing that responsibility with his siblings. But as far as being stressed, Jelani was not stressed out about anything. Jelani had been in a demanding program and also online for his frat. He had been online for Collegiate Black 100, 100 Black Men. And he did all of that all at the same time and never was there stress. So this thing that they wanted to say that Jelani was stressed out about something, that's not true.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to ask you because that's a point of contention I've seen online is that there was something going on with him before all of this happened. And so people have been trying to.
They're trying to assume and figure stuff out. And you also said that he was missing assignments. From what I understand and from what I know, because it hasn't been shown to me, when Jelani was in school, his mother, Jelani would call me. He was always going out, partying, hanging out and all that. And I'm always getting on him. Jelani, do you have your homework done? Jelani, did you do this? Jelani sent, now keep in mind, I done fussed at him all summer long because my son in addition to going to school, Jelani still maintained his social life. Okay. And me knowing how my son likes to stay out and hang out with his friends, I'm the mom that's always going to get on all of my kids and like, make sure you got your responsibility, make sure you're doing this. When Jelani, he would always tell me that he was doing those things. He would always tell me that he had his responsibilities in order. And when it came time to, when he received his report card, I was at work. Jelani sent me a picture of his report card from the summer when all that fussing I had done, where he showed me all A's and 1 B. Okay. So again, when they talk about him missing assignments, my son was still maintaining his GPA of 3.8 or somewhere up there between 3.8 and 4.0. So again, if he was missing assignments, that means his GPA would never have maintained that. Those A's would never have maintained. So again, those are things I need to clear up, because again, when that I can't call her a teacher, because that's not her title. She is and I'm referring to Kara Baster. When she reported my son missing and she filed that report with ISU, with the Redbirds, she mentioned in there that Jelani was late and that he was struggling. But again, when I spoke with her, that was not what she explained to me. So those are things that I questioned in that report as to what was the relevance of that. Because as I said, he only missed one class. One class. She only didn't see him for 1 day, according to her. So in missing one class, how do you surmise that to say you're worried because now he's missing assignments, he's coming to class late, he's not doing well in this, but you can only cite that he missed meeting you one time. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, I wondered about that myself. You know, I went to college for 7.5 years as an adult, with my kids tagging along with me. And it takes a lot for a professor usually to, flag somebody as being,
well, she wasn't his professor. She was his clinical director. That's the title. She was his clinical director. And let's keep in mind too, I have 5 children. They all went to college. They all graduated from college. Okay. All 5 of them. 3 of them 2 of them right now have their masters. 1 is pursuing her doctorate. And all of them missed class. All of them have. They've all skipped class. Jelani was at Alabama A&M. I know for a fact he skipped class because he would call me and tell me that he didn't go to class. And not one time did anyone, not a professor, a guidance counselor, anybody on that campus, that and those ladies that they've been interviewed and talked to, they were close to Jelani, and not one time because he would miss one class did they report him missing or cite that he had a problem because he missed an assignment. I know because I even had to speak to one before about Jelani. So some of these things and these narratives that people like to put out, again, that's why I'm here. And that's what I want to clear up, because I want you all to know that Jelani's story that doesn't make sense. What she was saying about him to what the police have tried to put up, none of it that does not make sense. And if you were smart enough to listen and you're smart enough to pay attention, you would know that it doesn't make sense.
Sorry about that. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know that it's hard to go over that, but it's important, that people understand that your son, just like I know Alaura. I know when Alaura's doing something she shouldn't be doing.
On paper, there's some things that might look odd to other people that would be like a totally normal day for me. So she's able to tell that, and I'm sure you're able to tell that with Jelani. There's certain things that
Absolutely. Yeah. If you would be able to know what Alaura's stress level was, or if the pressure was on her. If Jelani was stressed, Jelani had outlets as well. He had his siblings that, when I would get on Jelani and I'm fussing at Jelani and I makes Jelani mad. Okay. Jelani calls his sister, who he calls Little Carmen, and he vents to her. They talk about me. He would tell them, let me tell y'all about my mama. Let me tell you about your mama. They had those outlets. He had siblings that he could go and he could talk to. So I'm not going to tell you that he's 25 and he never got angry about something, or he never had something that bothered him. If he did, he knew that he could come talk to me. He could go talk to his dad. But those things that he did not talk to us about, he did talk to his siblings about. Yeah. He did talk to his grandma about. He called his grandma and tell on me in a hot second. So he had those relationships, that he had people that were there for him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can tell just from your family dynamic and everything that he definitely had a support system, that he wasn't just flailing out there in the wind on his own. I can tell that you're a great mother, and I wish I could totally have been as great of a mom as you are, because it's hard work as a mom. So I give you all the props for having 5 children who are very successful. So
and all well loved.
Yes, very much so.
Close.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into the dispensary. So how long had Jelani been buying marijuana at Hello or Beyond Hello, and how long had he been actually consuming marijuana? And I don't find his consumption of marijuana problematic, especially considering Illinois is a legal state.
Absolutely.
And
well, she done went off the screen again. But to answer that question, Jelani, I didn't find out that my son was smoking marijuana until, I don't know, when he was in college. I can't tell you which year, but I became aware that my son was smoking marijuana when he was in college. How often he smoked it, I can tell you that when he came back home, and I knew that he was smoking. He never smoked. Number one, the respect for me is so high. The standards that I set for them are high. So Jelani never smoked around me. And he did not like me to know that he did smoke. So that's number one. How I would know that he smoked is that when he come in there, and I could tell our eyes can get squinty or whatever. And Jelani told me, he said, "Mama, why are you staring at me?" or something. Then I'd be like, "Jelani, are you smoking?" And then I would have my little fuss and spell at him about that. But to tell you how long he had been smoking, I don't know how long he had been smoking. I do know that he smoked marijuana. I know that he smoked weed. How long he had been buying it, I couldn't tell you how long he had been buying it, but I was aware that he had been buying it. It's not something that I was totally in approval of. But however, as his mom, my son was of age that he could buy it. I used to fuss at him about it and everything, but he still continued to smoke it. But he smoked marijuana, and he could have been doing a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
definitely.
Smoking marijuana wasn't is not nothing that I was going to condemn him for. It wasn't something that I totally approved, but that's what he did.
Okay. So I was just wondering, because the fact that he leaves the dispensary, then from what it looks like on the map and the coordinates that I put in from the FOIA requests, it looks like he goes down, and he goes down for like maybe 10 minutes or so, and then he goes over and then goes up. and where he goes down is where the phone is lost, correct?
No. Where'd you get that information from?
I got the coordinates off of the FOIAs. I just plopped it into
Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps.
You must have got a different FOIA than what I got then.
It may have just,
according to the Bloomington police, his phone went off before he left the parking lot of the dispensary. So there was no way for anyone to track where he went to when he left the parking lot of the dispensary. So I'm not for sure.
I know that
were you able to hear what I said?
I think you said that he turned his phone off at the dispensary.
No. Okay. Let's stop right there. I never said he turned it off.
Oh, okay.
So according to the police report, that's where his phone got turned off, was at the dispensary in the parking lot. Number one, I don't believe that my son turned his phone off. Somebody was in the car with Jelani. Okay. Jelani would never turn his phone off. Okay. There was no reason for Jelani to turn his phone off. No kid or you or me is going to sit in a car and turn our phones off. For what reason? Jelani didn't turn his phone off. If his phone went off, it was because somebody turned his phone off. Mm-hmm. His phone did not die. And the reason that I say that it did not die, because the cord, the charger cord and the aux cord were still in the car. So if Jelani's phone was dead, he would have put the phone on the charger.
Yeah.
Jelani knows what it is, because when Jelani's phone is on Do Not Disturb, I am the one that when I'm calling Jelani and I'm like, okay, why are you not answering my phone calls? He immediately calls me back because he knows that phone is on Do Not Disturb. And he knows that I'm going to give him heck about his phone being on Do Not Disturb. So turning his phone off was not even in question. There's no reason that he would turn his phone off. Number one, he know his mama going to call him at any given time.
Yeah.
So turning his phone off, that doesn't even make sense. That phone, according to the police report, according to the police detective, they said that at 9:20, his phone went off, that he turned, according to them, he turned his phone off, and that he turned off his location in his phone. Why would my son every day up until that day have his phone on every day and have his location on every day, and then all of a sudden at 9:20 in the morning decide to turn his phone off and turn his location off? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I question.
So when you say he did it, Jelani didn't do that.
Okay, well, that's what the FOIA request says.
Right, that's what the FOIA request say.
So,
and so that's where my problem is because when they put the blame on him, they say he parked his car, he took off his clothes, he put himself in that river. Jelani did not do that to himself. He did not. And so I'm sorry if I'm seeming to come off aggressive right now, but that bothers me when it says he did something. My son didn't do these things to himself.
And and you're only getting this information from the download that they did from the phone? Is that he supposedly turned, or that it was turned off at the dispensary?
So at the time when I was told that the phone was turned off, they did not have a download from the phone, if I'm not mistaken. At that time, they had only tracked the phone and got off the towers, that there was no information. According to the towers, Jelani's phone never pinged after it left the dispensary. So that's where they said that his phone got turned. So that's where they came up. That's where his phone got turned off, because his phone never pinged after he left that dispensary.
That's very interesting. And he used Google Maps?
Yeah, I believe so.
I was just wondering because, he's not from there and he didn't know where he was going or where he ended up. So he didn't put any coordinates or anything in there. They haven't been able to pull any.
Let me stop you there too. He wouldn't have put in Peru, Illinois in Google Maps to go to Peru, Illinois. Jelani did not know anything about Peru, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, and I will attest to that to my last dying breath. My son would have never put Google Map, put it anywhere, Peru, Illinois. The police did not find in Google Maps Peru, Illinois on his phone. So whoever took Jelani to Peru, Illinois, they knew the way to Peru, Illinois. They knew where to park Jelani's car. They were familiar with Peru. Jelani did not know anything about Peru. You will not find anywhere in anybody's records, in no information about Jelani's phone, that Jelani ever Googled Peru, Illinois. He did not.
Okay. So, and I was just, when I started talking about the dispensary, I find it odd that he would, that anybody would go to a dispensary, smoke all the way up for an hour, or, smoke and then drive an hour and a half and then leave a part of the blunt or whatever behind if they were going to go then walking off on their own. That's something that it may be insignificant to everybody else, but to me it feels significant, because I feel like if he wasn't, a smoker, like we see that he is, he would be inclined to, if he was going to get out of a car, he would take that blunt with him and walk and smoke at the same time.
Number one, Amber, how long does it take for somebody to smoke a blunt? I'm not a smoker.
Yeah.
So
No,
if Peru, Illinois, if Peru is 63 miles from Bloomington, it don't take you an hour to smoke a blunt.
Yeah, no, I know that. And so I was wondering why it would take him.
So even in that, like I said, let's make this make sense.
Yeah. He
bought the blunt. The blunt was there was still a half of a blunt in the car. The police tell you that in the report. A half of a blunt is in the car. So the thing of it is, whoever, if they found Jelani's DNA on the blunt, which they say that they did, and he didn't smoke all of it, which we know that he didn't, because they have it. What you're saying, what you just said, again, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I was just bringing up things that I'm thinking about, and
because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If he wanted to be in the woods, hypothetically, which we don't believe he did, but just going along that line of thinking, it'd be dumb for him to just leave it in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just where I was going with it. I don't know where I was going, but I don't know. Just a thought that crossed my mind. So somebody did mention that, and I thought it was interesting that his car wound up behind a YMCA, and the fact that he had worked at a YMCA. So I thought, well, maybe he went there to, work out or something. I don't know why he would. Not saying he would, but it is interesting that he did that the car was parked behind a YMCA.
I don't know what the coincidence or the relevance of why they chose to park his car in that wooded area behind the YMCA. I don't know why that was chosen. I do know this. I do know that YMCA is not off of the highway. You have to drive into town. So I don't know if you've ever watched any of the video footage from a section that we, along with Rainbow Push, did that said, "See it for yourself." In the "See it for yourself" videos, we show you where his car was found. There is, for someone who would not know their way into Peru at all and to go into this residential area, that area where Jelani's car was found, Jelani wouldn't have placed his car there.
Yeah.
Someone that is wanting to commit suicide or do anything to themselves, there is bodies of water in Bloomington, Illinois. Why would my son drive 63 freaking miles away to put himself in the residential area and then walk to a river?
Yeah,
What
one
does
thing
that
that's
make
off.
sense?
Yeah, it does not
Nothing.
make sense. And one thing that leads me to believe that several things that lead me to believe that it's not a suicide is the fact that I feel like that car was extremely important to him since it was his grandfather's car. And I don't believe for a second that if by some stretch of the imagination that he was along that line of thinking, I don't believe that he would hide it. And I don't believe that he would remove license plates from it so that it couldn't be found.
What would be the purpose of removing your license plate? If you know you don't want to be here, why are you what are you going through these extremes? Because you didn't take anything else out the car. The suitcase that he had in the car from when he just came from out of town was still in the car. He had money in the car. There was still he had belongings that were in the car. You didn't take anything of that out the car, but you took a license plate out the car. Jelani didn't do this. I'm going to keep on telling y'all every time you bring up something to say that this is what they saying that he did. Jelani did not do this.
Yeah, no, I really think he didn't.
Jelani wouldn't have drove himself to this sundown town. You have to understand, this is a sundown town. If you don't know what a sundown town is, it's when people that look like me with this melanin, which my son had, are not supposed to be at a certain time. We're not supposed to be there. My baby wouldn't have did that. He wouldn't have went there. He didn't know nobody there. He had no business going there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know a little bit about sundown towns. My husband actually on Tuesday of this last week, he dropped me off at Bible study, and on his way out of the parking lot of the church, he ran into a man who was walking down the street, and he happened to be Black. And because we go to church an hour away from where we live, it's in the country. And so my husband felt very called to pick the man up and take him where he wanted to go. I mean, the man had been walking for days and days. And my husband said that he felt like he needed to pick him up and take him through a certain stretch of the state, through a couple of counties, because he didn't feel comfortable with the man walking through there. So, and my husband, unfortunately, he moved from Detroit to Missouri, and it happened to be a sundown town, and they had no idea, and so he's had some experiences. And so I want everybody to know that these places are real. It really happens. And and I was wondering about that too. When you went to Peru, what was your feeling about that whole place?
It was the first night I went there, I was like, where are we at? Number one, I had never heard of Peru. I thought when the police told me that Jelani's car was in, they asked me, did I know anybody in Peru? I'm thinking about a country, another country. That's what I'm thinking about. I had never heard of Peru, Illinois, and I've been in Illinois basically all my life. Going into that town, when we drove there that night, everything was wrong to me, because we drive across this bridge and then we got to go into this town. Like it's dark. It's because we got there, it was after midnight that night, and I knew something wasn't right, and I'm like, why would Jelani be here? There's nothing. And then when I even met these police there, because I wanted to believe, my faith was that I was going to find my son unharmed and alive. All I know is that my thoughts were everywhere. I just wanted Jelani. When I got there, I seen his car. My only questions were, did you see blood? Did you see Jelani? Did they see anything? Did they find anything? All I want to know is where my son was.
Yeah. No, that's I can't even imagine.
So when we got there that night, it was only the detective from Bloomington and a detective from Peru and a police officer from Peru was out there. That's it. That's all that was there.
Okay.
To tell you what I thought, my mind was everywhere that night.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. All I wanted was Jelani. That's all.
Yeah, no, I can't even imagine. So where was his phone found in relation to his car, and where was his wallet, lanyard, and clothes found? Because it seems like there's a lot of misinformation on all of that.
Okay, so his phone wasn't found until November of 2021. It was found on the side of a highway.
Okay.
Side of the highway. Some gentleman. I didn't find out about his phone. My kids woke me up. It was on social media. That's how we found out about his phone. The police never told me that they located his phone. But I learned that it was found on the side of the highway by a man he was tying a mattress. He told me on the back of a truck, but the pictures that I've seen, it's not a truck. I think it was a van. And he just so happened to look over and he seen this phone. He said that the screen was cracked. And so he took it to a Walmart in Bloomington, and sold it at a kiosk for $80.
Yeah.
So that's where the phone was found. The lanyard was found, I believe, a mile from where the body was found. The wallet was found in the front yard, about 2 miles away from where the car was found. The clothing was found a mile up the river from where the body was found. I just told you where the lanyard was found. So, but the clothing wasn't found so the body was found on September 4th. And the clothing was not found until September 21st, because they called me on the 22nd. Really? So the clothing was not found. They found the body. And I guess after they found the body, they was like, well, the hell with this. We don't got to search nowhere else. So according to them, they did not go search a mile up the river from where the body was found.
What?
That's what they said. So the clothing was not found until September 21st. Let's be very clear about all of this. And the clothing was found by the two white girls, or they thought they were helping me. They said that they seen me on TV, or they've been reading the story and they wanted to go walk their dog. So they went to Peru to walk their dog and to see how they could help me. Again, a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense to me, but I can only go by what has been told to me. I eventually, I think it was last year, I found these two girls. I had them take me to the area where they found the clothing, and that doesn't even make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me how they got to where they got. They said that they got there because they read and they got the coordinates off of a newspaper article that said it was by that bridge and off of 251. But they ended up going to a ATM and talking to a security guard, and this person told them that, oh, the police didn't search up there. Now, according to them, this person also participated in the initial searches for Jelani Day when the body was found on the 4th. So this person could tell them where the police hadn't searched, which is absolutely crazy to me. But this is their story, and this is the one I'm telling, okay? And but when I went there, when they showed me, nothing makes sense. It does not make sense. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. So,
And according to them, the clothes were tucked in the rocks.
What?
How did you know? They wasn't on the side of the bank. They were tucked and hid into the crevices of the rocks. You heard me correctly. The socks, the shorts, and Jelani's shoes were found, they said, right there on the bank. So when they went, because when I went, the water had risen. Okay. Mm-hmm. But when they said they found this clothing, and when we went there, when they went there to show me where they found it, they told me that the water had receded out and that his shoes were just sitting there. Now, what I find odd about this is, according to police reports, everything, it had rained, right? Mm-hmm. It had rained after the body was found. So how are those shoes still together? Yeah. Found together, because they got the pair of shoes. They got both shoes, the right and the left, that are still sitting on the side of this riverbank. The socks, both pair of the socks, they're together. How are they still there? I mean, the water was there. I mean, it had rained since that body had been found. Yeah. You know, stuff drifts away. It floats away in the water. However, Jelani's shorts, the socks, and the shoes are still right there on the riverbank. You make it make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. I would love for y'all to make this make sense to me. How could these girls 19, from the 4th to the 21st, what is that? 17 days? 17 days later, find clothing. Everything is intact. Everything is together. And the police didn't find it. Make it make sense.
Now, I heard that there was unknown male DNA in the waistband of Jelani's shorts.
I don't know where it was at on the shorts, but I heard that it was in the shorts too. Yeah.
And did they ever run that?
They told me that the DNA could not be identified because obviously it came from a person that had not been arrested.
Mm-hmm. Did they run it through GEDmatch?
I'm not for sure. They gave me the names of the database that it was ran through, but I don't have that in front of me, so I don't want to quote anything incorrectly.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely look at that and see if they've run it through at least GEDmatch, because that's where people put their DNA, to assist law enforcement to, help. So I would definitely...
And so for the person with his mystery machine, which I know this is the troll that trolls me all the time, from September the 4th until September 21st, it did rain. So whoever this is, I believe this is this person that trolls me all the time, mystery machine, that's in the comments. They are stating that it didn't rain after the clothing was found. It didn't rain until after the clothing was found, is what they've stated. So again, like I said, my son was, that body that I did not know that was my son was found on September the 4th. Mm-hmm. These girls found that clothing on September 21st. Between September 4th and September 21st, it did in fact rain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I believe you. I haven't looked at the almanac or anything like that, but either way, the way that his clothing were found, it's all highly suspicious, and it does not lend me to believe that Jelani went out there and did any of this on his own or on his own free will. Something has happened. I don't know what it is, but I have actually put in 2 more FOIA requests. I've asked for information on the car, and I've also asked for again, now I know that because it's supposed to be active, from what I understand, that they haven't released all of the phone information, but I've asked for that. So I don't know if I'll get it, but I've asked for it. So
who did you ask for it from?
I asked for one from Peru and then one from Bloomington. I can send you the ones that I sent out, but that's the two that I thought needed to be looked at the first, if we can possibly get it. So I wanted to do two at a time to see what I can get. But if there's any way we can help you do that, I've been getting FOIAs and stuff like that for other things. And so I've been successful. I don't know if I can be successful, with this one or not, but I'm trying. And I just want to help you. I just want to learn more. And I hate that you and your family are in this situation. And if the police, I don't want to be negative about police officers, but if the police had really just done their due diligence, we wouldn't be in this situation of not knowing.
So often they don't, and it's up to people to call them out when they don't, because they've been getting away with doing stuff like this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it's not cool, especially knowing that it was a sundown town and that Jelani was a person of color. I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything, but it definitely seems malicious to me, and it's just not cool. And in the very least, it's negligent, but it's kind of bordering on malicious to me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I am trying to bring awareness to now, is that especially young men of color, when they go missing, they are stereotyped as there are drug dealers, gang members, or they've been active in some type of criminal activity. And it's not true. That's not true about our Black men. We have productive Black men that are doing something with their lives. My son is a prime example of that. And he went missing. And when he went missing, my pleas were ignored.
Yeah.
My cries were ignored. I was told, Jelani, I was notified that the police were at my house on a Wednesday. On that Thursday, I was at the school meeting with Kara, who I thought was, at this time, if I could go back, there's a lot of things that I would do different. There's a lot of questions that I would have asked. There's a lot of people that I would have made sure that we focused on right there and then in that moment. But at that time, the only thing that I was concerned about and worried about was looking for and finding Jelani. So on that, like I said, on that Wednesday, I was notified that something was wrong. That Wednesday night, I'm telling the police, can we file a missing report? Can you look for him? Because initially the police were telling me, well, just give us a call back tomorrow. He's going to show up. And I'm like, is his car there? My son and his dad had now drove down there because I was 3 hours, 4.5 hours away. And so they're 45 minutes away. So they've drove down to Bloomington. I'm on the phone with my son and the police. They finally get into Jelani's apartment. They said they see nothing out of the ordinary. Again, nobody knew what to look for. Had I been there, had I been thinking, maybe I would have seen something. Again, now I was just being told, if he's not going to hurt himself, if you don't believe that he's going to do this to himself, we can't do this. Give us another 72 hours. I can't give you 72 hours because I know my son will be answering his phone. I know that he will be texting me back. I know this about Jelani. Jelani has never, ever went. If I call Jelani, I'm telling you, Jelani is texting me back or he's calling me back immediately. He does not want to hear my mouth. Jelani would do that. Okay. That night, I was not getting anything from Jelani. I was calling him. I was calling my child. Okay.
Yeah.
That man told me we can't file a missing persons report unless you believe that he's going to harm himself. After pleading and begging with them for hours, if that's what I'm going to get you to do in order for you to start looking for him is to tell you that, okay, he's going to hurt himself, I absolutely am going to tell you that, because I need you to go on record right now, file this report, because I'm thinking that if I file this report right now, that you guys are going to start putting out notices and looking for him. So if that's what I got to say for you to do that, then that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you're not going to see all of the things that when we look back on situations, we never did what we thought we should have done. We have a lot of regrets, and I hope you don't have those, because I think that you did the very best that you could for your son. And I truly believe that anyways.
Absolutely.
And so I did want to touch on the car, as far as I heard that there was when the car was parked in that some of them call it a ravine, some of it call it a wooded area. There were 2 men who were seen around the car. Is that true?
There's a troll that's telling everybody that Jelani met up with some 2 black boys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, that's in the comments, and that's been on these pages that I try to stay off of.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
As far as I know, the police have never told me about them knowing about anybody around Jelani's car. According to the police, they don't know nothing.
Okay.
According to the police, every lead that somebody has given them, when they seen Jelani's car parked at the gas station in Peru, when they seen Jelani's car speeding through the street, when they seen Jelani's car in Peru, according to the police, none of that, they went back and asked whomever or talked to whomever, and it led to nowhere. That's what the police have been told. That's what I've been told by the police. So I don't have any information about 2 men around Jelani's car.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen that in a police report. If you see it in a police report, point it out to me.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you.
Then I can do further. These are things that I'm looking at too, but I haven't seen that.
Okay. Yeah, no, and you're just one person, and I remember seeing it somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it, that there were 2 men seen around his car. That's why I've
only seen it from this troll that I'm referencing. Also, I listened to the end of your live on Saturday, where you had said something, and you were reading the police reports, and you talked about how the police reports were saying the same thing. They were repeating themselves, right? So as I'm looking at the police reports too, I'm too like you. I'm reading these FOIA reports, and they're saying the same thing. And if you look on there, they say supplemental, which means they had to go back and add some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, when they identified that body as my son on September 23rd of 2021, Police Chief Sarah Raymond, she wasn't a police chief at the time, but she came to me because I was very upset, because number one, they had not done anything to help me in those from August 25th, when I reported Jelani missing, to that September 23rd. Okay. Which was about a month. Okay. I was almost into a month. I had went to Dollar General, sat in there and watched the videos. I found my son's car. The PI that I hired at the time had went to State Farm and got the video from them and saw Jelani's car on it. The police didn't do none of that. I paid somebody to do that, or I did it. Okay. My kids had went to the neighborhoods and knocked on doors to see if they can get ring camera footage. Because none of this had been done by the Peru police, the LaSalle police, LaSalle Sheriff's Office, none of them, the state police, none of them had done this. So for about a month, everything that was done to look for Jelani was done by me, my children, and strangers, and my family. That's it. So when it comes to September 23rd, when they want to identify this body and tell me that it's my child, and then tell me, Carmen, we're going to start over tomorrow, which is the 24th, as if it was day one. Keep in mind, all these days have passed.
Yeah.
All these days have passed.
Mm-hmm.
My son was not looked for. Evidence wasn't collected. People weren't interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
All in the time that was critical.
I agree.
They told me that the video cameras at that YMCA did not work. And then I'm the one that found out that they did work and they did have stuff on there.
They did.
I did that. And then when they did talk to me, they did not go back to retrieve that video footage. I told them in September of 2021 that those cameras work, and there's video footage on there that you guys need to go collect. Do you know when they went back to collect that video footage off them cameras at that YMCA where that car was found? They did not go back to January the 13th of 2022. That's when they went back. January the 13th of 2022.
I am sorry. I am so sorry. I have seen
this. People's doors. They didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm up here stuck with. So that we're keeping his case open.
Yeah.
But we're not actively doing anything, and that cannot be so.
Mm-hmm.
I need them to actively do something. This is why I'm still pushing. This is why I'm not letting go. This is why I will not stop.
And I don't blame you. If anything were to happen to my children, I guarantee you I would go as far and as hard as I needed to, and it didn't matter who was in my way. I don't care. The world would burn down until I figured out what happened to my children. And for you are extremely strong and courageous to fight this battle every day. And I am sorry. I am sorry that you are having to deal with this. And I'm sorry that we don't have law enforcement who care enough to do their job. And I'm saying that because I've seen it so many times over and over and over again, where the family has to go out and do the legwork and collect the video evidence and all of that stuff. And that is just not the way that it should be at all. And I am very sorry that they did that. And
okay.
Sorry about that, Carmen. I just want you to know that we are here, in support of you. And like I said, I've already done some FOIAs, and I'm really wanting to dig into this. I really genuinely care about Jelani and justice for him. I want to know what happened to him. And so I'm going to try my hardest to help you. And, I'm just a small person, but, we have a lot of listeners on MBR, on Military Broadcast Radio, which this will be playing on Saturday on MBR. And I hope that some of you veterans out there who are listening, you have a veteran in front of you who needs your help. And we're calling you to action.
Absolutely.
And so I ask that.
One of the ways that you guys can help me right now is we've got a postcard campaign that we have initiated. That postcard campaign is what I'm doing to inundate the governor of Illinois and the attorney general of Illinois. I'm inundating their office with these postcards. Number one, if it's a nuisance to them, then so be it.
Good. It should be.
So well, our goal is to inundate their office with at least 10,000 postcards. Mm-hmm. I want the governor of Illinois to know, and I want the attorney general of Illinois to know that they are needed. That in what happened to Jelani, this could have been any of our child. Yes. It could have been one of theirs. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you they would not sit back and let these police departments do them the way that I have been done. They would not sit back and let their child be overlooked the way my child has been overlooked. So my goal and my call and what I'm at, my ask of everybody that's under the sound of my voice is that if you would go to voicesforjelaniday.com, on that page, there is an item that you can click on, and it tells you it's $10. So when you purchase the postcards, you're going to purchase two postcards for $10. One will go to the governor, and one will go to the attorney general.
Okay.
Those cards, please. You guys, I'm doing everything I can to let them know, like I said, Jelani is not forgotten. And and by you helping me, you're letting them know that Carmen and her kids and her mom and her family are not the only ones that want to know what happened to Jelani, that there are people out here that are concerned that also want to know what happened to Jelani, and they want justice for Jelani because Jelani did not deserve this. Jelani had a purpose, and I know my son would have been great at what he was going to school for. I know he would have helped many of people. So since he's not going to be helping people in the way that he envisioned to help them, I now have to lead that force, and we're going to help them in this way. Well, I'm going to help families eventually, that if they ever have to go through anything like this, that I will be able to assist them with the resources. That is one of the reasons why we have formed the Jelani Day Foundation. And the Jelani Day Foundation is there to help families that have missing children, missing brown and black boys. But we're open to helping any and everybody. But my focus was on them because that is the least recognized class of people that receives the help. It's unfortunate that we have to look at things and classify them by race. But but this is real life, and this is what we have. This is what we're going through right now. Like I said, I would not wish this on anybody. This is nothing easy. It is torture to not know why you had to bury your child. To not understand it is torture. I do all kinds of things to distract myself, to keep myself busy. But it never goes away.
No.
It never goes away. I will never get a chance to talk to my baby again. I don't get to have to make any more memories with him. I don't get to do anything for him. And somebody took that from me. They took that from me, and so I don't want for another family to have to go through this. I want to be able to provide resources, to be a connection for media help, to provide assistance to them if they need it, because me and my children, my family, we weren't afforded that. Jelani wasn't afforded that. So I want to make an impact. I want Jelani's name to be to missing people what Susan B. Coleman's name is to cancer, to breast cancer. I do. I want when you hear about missing people, I want Jelani Day to make a difference in that. And so that's my goal. And at the same time of me making a difference, I still need to find out what happened to him.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We won't let him be forgotten. And I know that as years go on, a lot of times coverage will slow down, but it's just so important that we all take part in trying to keep this in the public eye. This is just
yeah, and everybody, somebody had a good idea, reach out to the Walshes, John Walsh and his son, I mean, get it on a bigger platform, and maybe people will start doing something about it. Unfortunately, you have to have mainstream media
so sick,
paying attention and right there with you for anything to get done. And so we're sorry that you're in this situation, but I love the fact that you are helping other people. That is a huge win for the world. And I think that Jelani would be extremely proud of you. And so we're here to offer our, assistance. And anytime you want to come on, usually we don't have bad internet. Sorry. Sorry. But anytime you want to, tell anybody anything or anything, you are more than welcome to come. And like I told Dakara, I see Jelani.
Also, we are also endeavoring to have our third annual all-white fundraising gala. I was just talking since you guys went off.
No, you're good. I see Jelani as, like one of my kids that I used to teach in school, in Sunday school,
Well, Jelani went to Sunday school and he was active in church. He sung in the choir. He participated in church. He was very active in church. So
yeah,
even at his good age of 25, the Bible says you raise up a child in the way that they should go, and when they grow old, it shall not depart from them. And my kids were raised in church.
Mine were too.
They knew right from wrong. Yeah. And I thank God for prior to this happening to Jelani, the past couple of years, he had been really, really seeking God. And he had been really changing a lot of things that he was doing. Like I said, by no way have I ever presented any of my children as perfect, but they're perfect to me. You know what I'm saying? They all make mistakes. They just do normal human stuff. I had to get on them about different things, but I have no bad children. My kids, I'm extremely proud of my children. Extremely proud of all 5 of them. Every last one of them.
You should be.
They are the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm a total mess up, but when you look at them, those are 5 of the best things that I've ever had a part in this life. And I'm extremely proud of them. Extremely proud of them.
You really should be.
Those are my favorite people in the world.
Everything I've seen of your family, you are very blessed. And so yeah, I'm extremely sorry that this has happened to you again, but like I said, you are a friend of our channel now and of Military Broadcast Radio. And hopefully I can get some hosts over on MBR to pick up Jelani's story as well and tell it. And we're just here to help in any way possible. So we want to thank you so much, Carmen, for coming on. And we're sorry that our internet has been so tricky, but I think we've made it work. And I hope that
I want to thank y'all for having me. I just want to say, you guys went off. So I was trying to talk again while you weren't on there. But I just want to say before we let it go, before you let me go, that we are endeavoring to have our 3rd annual all-white fundraising gala for the Jelani Day Foundation. And it will be held in Broadview, Illinois on Saturday, August 23rd. The tickets are available on Eventbrite. We do have sponsorship levels or tiers. If any organization group is wanting to make a donation, they can make a donation on the website, which is the Jelani Day Foundation.org, or they can go to the Eventbrite, which is located on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and click on the Eventbrite and purchase tickets. It's been a challenge to do all of this at the same time. Like I said, I went from looking for my child to burying him and to now finding out what happened to him. And at the same time, trying to do things to make a difference. So it's been a lot, and it is overwhelming a lot. It's been very overwhelming, but at the same time, I thank God for his grace and mercy that I'm continuing to be able to push forward and to get this done. I thank God for just keeping me in my right mind, because it is so easy to be in a dark space and to lose it. And I've been there a couple of times, but it's the grace of God that pulls me from those places. So I'm thankful. So I just want you all to continue to pray for me and my family.
We will.
If you can support us by purchasing the postcards or making a donation, or even I will be more than happy to see everyone show up for the gala again, which is going to be held on Saturday, August 23rd, in Broadview, Illinois, in the Chicago area at the Red Door Meeting Place. I'll be happy to see you. Please come out, support the foundation, support our cause. I appreciate it.
Well, you will see us in August, or at least me. I don't know if Alaura will tag along, but my husband and I will definitely try.
Well, I thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I hope that people that are listening and watching, that they're able to attend as well. We want to pack the place. We want to raise the money for the foundation. We want the foundation to grow. We want to make a difference. We want to make sure that we are able to be a support and a resource to families. I do want to also say that we have been successful in giving out scholarships. So far, the goal is to give out scholarships to the schools that Jelani has attended, which is the high school, Danville High School, ISU, and Alabama A&M. So far, we've been able to give out, we've done it, I think this is our third year we've gave out scholarships at Danville High School. We haven't done ISU or Alabama A&M yet, but that is, hopefully this year we'll be able to present those scholarships to deserving students at those universities as well. So
that's
again,
awesome.
Great.
We want to make sure that Jelani is remembered. Like I said, I just want to make a difference. I want to make a difference in the honor of my son.
Yes.
No, and you are doing an extremely great job at that. You have
It looks like somebody is asking for.
what's your email?
So somebody's asking for our email. Our email is the Jelani Day Foundation at gmail.com. We can put that in the chat.
Okay. So Carmen, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
That is still bugging out. But
Okay.
I thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. And we are going to try to do our best to get Jelani's story out there and the foundation information out there so that you can continue to help as many people as possible.
And you've also just done a beautiful job showing us who Jelani was in life instead of just letting everything overshadow. I feel like you've done a really good job where people do care about him and do feel like they know at least a little bit about him. And I know that he's smiling down on you.
Yeah.
Very, very proud of you.
Well, thank you, Alaura. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. One of my things is that if I could never do nothing right, I get them 5 right. And that's so I want to do right by you.
Well, I think you've already done a really great job at that. So we wish you the best with everything in the foundation and everything, but we're going to continue to work with you to try and figure out what's going on. Like I said, I've got those FOIA requests out, and I'll be sending some more. So hopefully
postcards too.
Yes, we'll definitely be doing the postcards too as well. So thank
Well,
you,
I
Carmen.
appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and don't worry about the internet. The message, hopefully the message has been conveyed. I need help. So that's the
I
message.
think it has too. Thank you so much, Carmen, and have a very blessed night.
Hey, you too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you everybody for watching. I know this was an impromptu live. I thought we were going to do a recording, but you know, it is what it is, and we rolled with the punches, and the internet bugged out, but we're okay. So thank you everybody for all of your well wishes. Please pray for Carmen and her family. It's desperately needed, and please go out there and do the postcards. Yes, and look into the foundation. And have a very blessed evening, and please go out there and do something to change the world. Thank you, everybody.